The purpose of this show is to guide you to realign with habits that get you to live the life you've always dreamed of. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with Jesse Yule. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle, where you can access your full potential right now. Finally break free from destructive habits. That dream life, if you want it, you can have it. This is where you transform your health, mind, business, and relationships. Or do nothing and keep your life the way it is. But if you're ready for change, you're in the right place. This is where you're gonna learn how to live a habit-based lifestyle. You are tuning in to the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with your host, Jesse Yule. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle. Let's go.
In today's episode, we're going to cover this simple topic. And this topic is this. It's all about reps. Sit back and relax as we take a deep dive into this topic. So before we get started, I want to set the frame around this idea or conversation of reps. Now, many of you know I've been a trainer for 20 years. And one of the biggest things we do as trainers is we find out the rep range that somebody must complete, or we want this person to perform to get the most out of their movement, their exercise, whatever this is. But today I want to talk about a different type of rep. This type of rep is how we actually begin to build habits. And when it comes to building habits, repetition is key. It's crucial. In fact, it's the most important thing when it comes to you actually sticking to a habit or creating a new one or building this new one. Because building a new habit requires this repetition, and this repetition requires consistency. You see, consistency is more important than anything else. Not perfection, but consistency. And we seem to get these twisted up quite often. Most of our lives, we don't do repetitions. We don't make things consistent because they're not perfect. And so as we go and chase perfection, what gets lost in all of this is our reps, is our consistency. So what's the simple lesson you can learn by simply just committing to the reps? You see, reps build muscle memory. And when you create muscle memory in the gym, your body remembers. Your body remembers this pathway. You create this also with habits. It remembers a pathway. Even the habits that don't work in our life, such as drinking, smoking. These are all pathways that are being programmed in our mind. Just like working out, just like taking out the trash, just like brushing our teeth. We have been programmed to do these things consistently. Now, there's a lot of people that talk about consistency in habits, but do they actually look the part? You see, there's a lot of people talking about habits today. How you should work out, how you should eat right. Yet, these very same people are 30 to 40 pounds overweight. How you should treat your wife, how you should do this, how you should do that. But at the end of the day, you can see it in their eyes that they don't actually do that. Now, I've coached thousands, tens of thousands of men, women in this game. And here's what I know. Just like getting on a scale, you look in someone's eyes, you can see it. You can see their lies. You see, people have lies in their eyes. And they think they're in disguise, but they're not. Because when you've done the work, you've done the reps, and you've consistently done all of this, you can see the lies in people's eyes, the way they carry themselves. So don't be fooled by people that are marketing you this stuff. Because more so than ever, social media has helped us become really good at lying. You see, even in the gym business, there were people who were really good marketers who knew nothing about training, operating a business, and they operated from lies. And then you had other people that were trainers, that were really good trainers, but they had no idea how to market. And there was two opposite ends of the spectrum. And one of the biggest things and the keys to me being successful inside of that industry was I landed somewhere in the middle. I was a great trainer who learned how to market himself. And I marketed myself in truth. And when you're in the land of liars, the truth will prevail. And what I'm starting to actually see is the more I dive into the coaching world and the coaching industry, it's the same thing. It's all these people talking about results. Yet half of them are overweight, disconnected in their marriage. And then we have other ones that are talking about masculinity that don't have kids, aren't married, and they live this frat boy life. But they're telling you how to live your life. And yet they're 40 years old and they're not even married. They have no kids. And the only thing that you see them do every weekend is go party. So I want you to consider this. These reps that we continue to build, you can see in other people. People that want you to coach with them, people that they market to, you can see the reps in them. Now, I'll be honest with you. One of the things that I broke down this year was I wanted to improve my game at public speaking, which means one thing, like I have to get reps. So right now in this podcast, I'm getting a rep. But this rep doesn't really scare me. It's not as bad as like being up in front of a bunch of people. And a lot of times when I get in front of a lot of people, I feel like I forget like 70% of the shit that I actually want to talk about. And I end up stumbling and just thinking about what I'm not saying instead of just focusing on what I'm doing. So one of the things that I'm working with is I'm working with a coach who's actually assisting me in building a system to be able to follow so I can begin to get these reps. And I always like to bring stuff back to training, to working out, because that way it helps me understand what I'm actually doing. You see, if I have a system and I perform a certain amount of reps, eventually my brain gets into this groove. And once I'm into this groove and consistently do this, I can perform at a higher level. I can learn at this higher level. And so really the whole thing I want you guys to get today out of this is this application of reps. Because no matter how bad you are at something, if you just do it every single day, you will get better at it within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks. But most people stop. They stop doing the reps. You see, even me as an athlete growing up, I had a work ethic. Whether it was in the weight room or eating, I can remember not necessarily being the most gifted athlete, but I was the most consistent athlete. I wasn't a natural athlete. I had the most repetitions and I was willing to do more reps than anybody else. And when I became older and got into high school, it was evident I was notches ahead most of the kids on my team because I had committed to just being consistent and working on my reps. Some of the things that began to change in my spiritual life was just being committed to meditating, whether it was for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, it didn't matter. But as long as I was willing to get my reps in every single day, that's all that mattered. I began to pray every day. I began to journal and practice gratitude. And as I continued to get reps, all of a sudden, I felt more connected to God, the voice, whatever you want to call it. And I began to do the same thing in my marriage. I began to send my wife daily messages. From the time I started this over 4 years ago to now, I've sent my wife over 1,400 daily messages, videos, over 200 date nights. And as I began to do this, my relationship, it's the one thing that changed my relationship with my wife, my marriage, my relationship with my kids, even in business, making it a habit every single day to study, to learn something every single day. Because when I learned that thing every single day, I took one step forward. I began to get another rep in. And as I began to get more reps in, and as I began to share what I learned, this impacted not only me, but everybody else. You see, when you complete your daily routine often enough, it becomes ingrained in you. Like brushing your hair, taking a shower, brushing your teeth. These are things that we do on a daily basis that we don't even think about anymore. Here's the other part. I made a rule that I would never miss twice. I would never miss 2 days back to back. Now imagine if you missed 2 days back to back brushing your teeth, how bad you would smell. You missed 2 days of not taking a shower. It would just feel awkward. But guess what? That's how it feels when I miss 2 days of working out, when I miss 2 days of meditation, when I miss 2 days in a row of not leaving my wife a message of honor, love, and appreciation. So this is a rule that I have created in my life to make it not feel natural when I miss twice. And so I made this a habit to say, listen, I'm not going to miss twice, no matter what. But here's the question I want to ask you. Do your reps often. Here's the point I want to make. Do your reps often. Do them consistently. And any habit will become natural. So there's a lot of people out here that say, oh, my habits are really bad. Well, guess what? You've been consistent at bad habits. So you have consistency down. You have the reps down of your bad habits. Simply reframe those and take that same consistency into a new habit that works in your life. You see, reps don't matter for men or women. They work the same. The biggest thing I want you to get in this is this. Ask yourself this one question. Are the reps that I'm doing working in my life? Are the reps I'm doing in my habits working in my life or not working? Are the reps that I'm consistently doing working in my life or not working? And if they're not working, what's a new habit that you could begin to do reps in? Now, here's the challenge. I'm going to challenge you to pick something you can do in less than 2 minutes. I'm going to challenge you to pick a habit that you can begin to do in less than 2 minutes, and you can begin to build this game of reps and consistency. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought today. It doesn't matter where you're starting. What matters is that you just get started. What matters is that you just start consistently doing reps every single day, no matter if it's for 60 seconds or 2 minutes, but pick something in between there. And I can promise you after 30 days, that area is going to be different. That area is going to begin to shift, and it's going to be able to create new results in your life. Guys, I appreciate you being on here. I would love some feedback on this podcast and how it actually affected you while listening to this. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, jesse@habitbasedlifestyle.com. You can also check out my website, habitbasedlifestyle.com. Stay tuned for next episode, and we will be discussing a new topic around habits that can impact your life. Until then, have a great week.
The purpose of this show is to guide you to realign with habits that get you to live the life you've always dreamed of. This is the Habit-Based Lifestyle Podcast with Jesse Ewing.